The Wrecker. Real name, Dirk Garthwaite. Occupation, professional criminal. Identity, publicly known. Legal status, American citizen with a criminal record. Former aliases, none. Place of birth, New York City. Marital status, single. Known relatives, none. Group affiliation, leader of the Wrecking Crew. Base of operations, New York area. First appearance, Thor number 148. Origin. Dirk Garthwaite was a manual laborer employed by a demolitions company who was fired for his antisocial behavior and fits of violence. Deciding to turn his talent for mayhem and destruction into criminal activity, Garthwaite fashioned himself a simple costume to hide his identity. He then committed a series of crimes under the name of the Wrecker, his trademark being the crowbar with which he devastated the scene of the crime. While fleeing from the authorities, the Wrecker happened upon a hotel room occupied by Loki, the Asgardian god of evil, whose magical powers had at that time been temporarily removed by Odin. The Wrecker smashed his way in while Loki was in the midst of mystically summoning Karnilla, Queen of the Norns. See, Karnilla. The Wrecker overpowered Loki, and, while trying on Loki's horned helmet, was mistaken for the god when Karnilla hastily materialized to grant Loki magical power so that he could battle Thor. Now possessed of magical power which gave him superhuman strength, the Wrecker embarked upon a brazen wrecking spree, no longer fearing the authorities. This spree attracted the attention of Loki's half-brother Thor, the thunder god, whose power had also been diminished at the time by his father Odin's spell. The Wrecker battled Thor for hours straight, finally besting the partially depowered god. It took the invincible destroyer automaton, animated by the spirit of the goddess Sif, to defeat the Wrecker. The Wrecker was imprisoned under heavy sedation in an upstate New York hospital for several months, but developed an immunity to the tranquilizers and broke free. In a return bout with Thor, who now possessed his full godly might, the Wrecker was overpowered. Thrown upon the electrified third rail of the New York subway system, the Wrecker had his superhuman strength drained from him by a discharge of energy from Thor's hammer. Imprisoned for a few years, the Wrecker eventually escaped, along with 3 fellow inmates, and managed to locate the crowbar, into which he believed his enchanted power had fled after being driven from his body. The 4 convicts gripped the iron crowbar in the midst of an electrical storm and were struck by lightning. The lightning magically distributed the enchanted strength bestowed by the Norn Queen among the 4 of them. Acquiring costumes and taking individual aliases, the 4 called themselves the Wrecking Crew. Since the formation of this group, the Wrecker has seldom acted independently. Height, 6 feet 3 inches. Weight, 320 pounds. Eyes, blue. Hair, brown. Powers. The Wrecker possesses superhuman strength and a high degree of imperviousness to harm. By Karnilla's original enchantment, the Wrecker could lift, about 40 tons. Since sharing his power with his cronies in the Wrecking Crew, the Wrecker is now able to lift about 10 tons. The enchantment augmented his entire body, strengthening his bone, muscle, and flesh. The Wrecker is capable of withstanding the impact of a .45 caliber bullet without it penetrating his skin. On the Mohs scale of hardness, diamond equals 10, human flesh equals 1, the Wrecker's skin is 5.5. Weapons. The Wrecker wields a 4-foot-long cast-iron crowbar which has become virtually indestructible through extensive contact with the Wrecker's enchanted skin. The Wrecker uses it offensively as both a throwing weapon and a bat. Using the crowbar, the Wrecker can demolish a steel and concrete wall in a matter of seconds.